How you doing? I'm Rich. I own and operate Rei-Mon Buki, specializing in weapons for Aikido training. Specifically, we cut Bokken. Um, but whether it's specifically for Aikido or not, how to cut a Bokken, how to select the wood for a Bokken, really doesn't vary no matter what style or whatever you happen to do. We're going to do a little 4-part series here to kind of help you learn how to make your own Bokken. We'll go through how to pick a piece of wood, and then we'll go through how to design the Japanese sword, how to custom fit a sword to you, and then we'll actually carve one, and then we'll go through how to finish it, the proper way to finish a piece of wood. So let's start with the start, picking a piece of wood. I suppose you could make a Bokken out of just about any piece of hardwood. Over the years, this is about the 15th, 16th year I've carved Bokken, and I use hickory. American hickory has everything you need in a Bokken. I mean, they don't make hammer handles and axe handles out of it for nothing. I mean, it's incredibly resilient. It's incredibly strong. It's not super heavy, but it has a nice heft. It really just, for a Bokken, it has just everything you want. But not just any piece of hickory is going to do it. You're looking for something particular in the grain. Now, when I break down a piece of wood, I break it down as either an A grade or a B grade. Anything below a B grade really is just not suitable for a Bokken. It's just going to break and shatter. And what we're looking for is to make something that's going to last for years. Well, maybe it'll only last 6 months, but you don't want to break the first day you use it. And if you use something that's just substandard, that's what's going to happen. Now, this is one of the blanks that we produce. Typically when I'm selling things to customers, because I don't really cut many Bokkens anymore, maybe a dozen a year, but mostly people call and request blanks. We go through quite a process to find proper pieces of wood and to grade them A or B. What we're looking for mostly in a piece of wood is that it's free of knots. A knot on the handle is okay. It's a nice feature. It's beautiful. A lot of people do request that actually. But certainly if it's got anything else, that's just not good. A really nice, what I would call an A+ piece of wood. This is absolutely an A+ piece of wood. Has nice clear grain, and specifically in the grain, what we're looking for is that vertical. You can kind of see it there on the end. There it is, and that the nice vertical grain that way. I want you to think about this. If you, as you make this, you can see how the curve is on this. As you use this Bokken, you're hitting this edge, and because you're hitting multiple layers of wood, those growth rings at this angle, very strong, last much longer. Now, picture you carved it. Picture the curve was this way, and you were hitting it this way. Just one growth ring at a time, you were pounding it on. Very weak. In fact, I probably have one. Yeah. Now, this is one of those. This is how I learned. This trial and error. There was nobody out there teaching me how to do this, and the few guys who did do it, it was like this big trade secret, and they wouldn't talk. So, anyway, so I made this one, and the grain is very much horizontal to the ground. And as we beat that single growth ring, eventually, that happened. I made several, actually, from this stock of maple. This is actually maple. And maple in itself is actually not a bad choice for a Bokken. But as it beat the growth ring, they just kind of went pop, pop, pop. One of them, actually, in this group, popped all the way down. It literally was like from you kind of see it from the tip, almost halfway down, just kind of lifted right up. So, again, what we're looking for is that nice grain that's running very vertical to the ground. Now, a B-grade piece of wood, again, is typically very clean insofar as it doesn't have a lot of knots or twists or turns that would create a weakness in the wood. But the grain isn't necessarily perfectly vertical. You can see on this one, for instance, that the grain is very much kind of a 45-degree angle. Not ideal. not bad for a Bokken. I mean, this is a good Bokken. It's strong. It may very well last for years, but it's not that perfect grain. Now, that's not to say this isn't a nice Bokken. This piece of wood, for instance, you can see on hickory. This is one of the features I really love about hickory. You can see the line between the sapwood and the heartwood. You can see it nicer even there. That heartwood right there and that sapwood. Now, that's hard to find in a clear piece. Now, that's hard to find in a B grade. Now, they're out there, and I find them all the time, but it's the exception rather than the rule. And in an A grade, even more so. Now, don't get me wrong. We find A grades that are all heartwood, and the heartwood is a little denser and a little heavier. Hard to find, but sometimes we run across it. Okay, like I said in the beginning of the segment, I suppose you can make your Bokken out of any piece of hardwood you want, cocoa, bola, whatever. It's like slinging a lead pipe in class, though. I mean, all you're going to do is break everybody else's Bokken and, end up hurting your own elbows from, tennis elbow, that repetitive motion injury kind of thing. Now, the next segment will be on custom designing the Japanese sword, for you individually. And as I said before, we'll get into carving and finishing. I want to close by saying, no training weapon becomes an old friend like one you cut yourself. So I really encourage you to get in there and give it a shot. Give it a shot. And what's the worst that can happen is you fail, and you know what? All you end up with a mess of hickory chips that you can barbecue with. So it's all good. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.